McCartney fans, and welcome to episode 109 of Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. We are a Paul McCartney talk show mainly dealing with the solo career of one Paul McCartney. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Tom Hunyadi. You may know me from my other show, Talk More Talk, and I am joined by my partner in crime. He is the backwards traveler, if you will. He is the one and only Andy Nichols. Andy, what's going on, my friend?
Episode 109, like the
Episode
one after
109.
909 almost.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm well, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a guest with us, as you can see, and I'm also, in his world, I'm also known as Tom Hunyadi, if you listen to a past show of his. But we are joined by Ethan Alexanian. He is the host of the very fun and very good show Fans on the Run, and we're going to be talking about new today, and it just makes sense that we have the newest podcast sensation here with joining us to talk about this. So he is Ethan. Ethan, my friend, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah. Well, you had told me in advance I should be dreading your introduction because you were going to say some embarrassing things.
Oh, yeah.
And so now I feel let down.
I would not embarrass you.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
Yes. Yeah. Well, not here, anyways.
Yeah.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait till you come to visit Arizona, and we'll do some embarrassing things with you. Maybe I'll give you a swirly or something like that. Or
what the hell is a swirly? Do I want to
know? You don't know?
No.
Seriously?
No. We don't have those here. Whatever those are.
Very good. But anyways, like I said, we're going to be talking about new today. The album New from 2013. Very, very good album. But first, we're going to be talking about any news, but no singles still. Do we want a single? I mean, does it matter now? I mean, we're less than a month away.
We've given up hope on the single.
Yeah.
Just give us the album already.
Give us the album already. I'm over it. All these damn rumors. I can't take it anymore. But Andy, you just got something in the mail. I haven't got my copy yet, but hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully, the 100th anniversary of the Rupert and the Bear, We All Stand Together. Yes. Picture just came in. This is the 2020 variation. You can see in the back my original copy from 1984.
Yes,
there.
Yes.
Played it once on both sides. Very clean. Packaging was like so. Kind of came in like just in this little flap thing.
Right.
So it wasn't like hugely secured or anything, but it wasn't damaged.
Okay.
Got a nice little.
Wait, it didn't come in a box. It just came in that.
Well, no, it came in a box, but it wasn't. But it wasn't like protected or anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was just media mail, and then just opened it up, and that was it. Didn't it wasn't a typical bubble wrap or anything, but little poster. Yeah, but look, actually, my copy's slightly like warped, but it didn't like warp. It didn't warp on the turntable, but like it just. I don't know if anybody else is out there looks that way, but it just is. It was slightly warped on first glance, but it played okay. So quickly sold out on PaulMcCartney.com. So
why?
Because people want these things like us.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they want it, or do they just feel like they have to have it?
Probably a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit more of the latter, though.
Maybe, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, right?
Is anyone really going out of their way to spend like $30? And it's like, you know what I want to hear? I want to hear "We All Stand Together."
Yeah.
I think
I like the song.
Yeah, I think if it was $100, Tom and I would have bought it.
You are part of the problem.
We are. But tying into this, We All Stand Together stuff. 4K. Remaster of the short film.
Yes.
Came out in conjunction with this, and it was featured a nice little intro with Jeff Dunbar, the animator of the film, and the 4K version was really well done from start to finish. It was actually the first time I've actually seen the film from start to finish. I had only seen the music video for We All Stand Together, but the actual film I had not really seen it before because it was in America here it's not really widely available. So
you never got that animated short DVD with that and Tuesday, and then there was also another.
The animated collection DVD.
Yeah.
No, I did not get that. No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Did not get that. So it was nice, and it was up for a while on his YouTube page, but now
Yeah, so what does that mean? I wonder if they were going to get it released on a Give My Regards to Broad Street box set, maybe.
Please, for the love of God, please.
Yes. Did you watch it, Ethan? Did you even care?
I watched it.
You watched it because you liked the song, right?
That wasn't very enthusiastic.
Well judged, Andy.
It wasn't.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting mine tomorrow, and hopefully I won't have the same problem that you had with it being warped or whatnot. But,
yeah, I mean, like I said, it played okay. It looked a little bit like this. I don't know.
Okay.
I saw it. I'm like, oh man, this isn't. You know, why you gotta go there?
You know, we invited the kid on the show, you know, and you know, no appreciation. You know, smart ass comments.
He knows he's talking to two people that will buy literally anything Paul McCartney records out. Could be Webster's Dictionary. We're going to buy every edition of it.
Right. Exactly.
We love you anyway.
But we're the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Download everything.
Hey, that's Mr. Illegally Download Everything.
Oh.
He's got stuff there. Look at his room. He's got a nice little setup. He's got a setup there. He's good. He's
I
one
buy
of us.
music. I buy music.
He spends money.
He does.
He spends money.
Yeah. Maybe not his own, but he gets.
I'd have to thank Her Majesty for that.
There you go.
Yes, the Commonwealth, right? Yep.
Yeah. You know what that means, right, Tom?
Yes. Thanks to you. Yes. Okay. But anyways, Ethan, before we get to new, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your show. Talk about getting started. Fans on the Run. What was the whole purpose of you putting this show together?
Well, I've always been fascinated by people's stories about being Beatle fans, and I always found myself like asking relatives who are also massive Beatle fans, like, tell me about like getting started listening to them.
Right.
And then there was a factor. I don't know if you two have heard of this. This coronavirus thing happened.
You don't say.
I know. And I found myself pretty much devoid of human contact, and so I thought, I want to talk to people again. And so I decided to masquerade as a podcast. And now here I am, nearly 50 episodes in.
When did you start up? When was your first episode?
It was like, I want to say April 14th of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember, when I first saw about it, I remember being very excited about it because, I enjoy hearing people's Beatles stories, and if I had YouTube back in 1988, I might have done the same thing, So,
I feel like a pioneer now because it's a trendy concept.
Oh yeah, others have followed in your footsteps, who will remain nameless.
To protect the innocent.
Right,
right. Maybe not so innocent.
Maybe not.
So talk about those early days in production. Getting it started. How long did it take you from the idea to actually posting the first episode?
It took about a month. I went to like two people with the idea first. I went to Susan Ryan, and I went to our friend to all, Kid O'Toole,
yes.
asking, should I do this? And said, go for it. And so I thought, might as well reach out to Ken Womack. Well, I'm at it, because, that's a reasonable second episode.
Right.
Certainly is. So you kind of already were friends with everybody on, different groups and stuff like that. So
I had met a lot of people at the Beatle Fest.
Right. Which one? Chicago 2019, right?
That one.
Yeah.
Were you at that, Tom, or no?
No, I missed that one. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so you get started, talk about, the people that you wanted on the show. You talk about your first episode was with your uncle. I mean, did you have this experience with your uncle early on in your in childhood? Did you guys have this in common, earlier? Or does that come in later in life?
Well, I looked at the calendar and I noticed it'll probably sound a little weird to you guys, but it's I've been a Beatle fan for about 10 years now, and that's over half my life.
Yep.
And so, about 10 years ago, my uncle told me more about this mythical band called the Beatles.
Right.
And so I'm like, I should give these guys a listen. And
Right.
I haven't looked back since, and he's probably given me like half of his record collection.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
See, and that's another thing that drawn me to the show too, is because you got the same experience that I had, because my uncle was my Beatle connection as well too. So
Yeah.
So, but besides Andy and I, who are some of your favorite people to have on the show?
Well, 50 episodes, and he's done 50 shows since what, in like 8 months? I mean, that's an amazing
Well,
ethic right there.
Hopefully it wasn't too obvious that my face got a little brighter because I had to open up a separate window so I can actually see who I've had on. Thank you for asking. I've had such luminaries like Andy Babiuk, Bruce Spicer,
right,
David Bedford, Gary Astridge, Ivor Davis, Mark Lapidus, Joe Mayo, Ken Michaels, and there's been a bunch, including your arch rival Sam Wiles.
Who?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, who?
That's okay. Whatever. We'll
Is
deal
that
with
payback?
That. Who?
Yeah, no.
Is he still alive? No.
I don't know.
Hello, Sam.
Anyways,
He's
Is
totally
anybody out there? Whoa.
Yeah. So you are coming up with your 50th episode. I mean, so have you found it easy getting guests for your show?
I found it weirdly easy.
Mm-hmm.
I've out of all the people I've reached out to, only a handful have said no.
Yeah. Oh, personally say no, or just just ignored you.
I was gonna have any people have you reached out to that actually just you haven't gotten even a reply from or anything? Some.
Some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, I've had barely anyone say no.
Okay.
Which doesn't do wonders for my ego. Saying like, wow, everyone will do the show.
Well, it's like, as Tom and I have kind of found out, if you contact somebody and you just directly message them and tell them what you're doing and you give them a link, all you got to do is click it and go on and talk. It's no, we're not reinventing the wheel here with what we're doing with our shows.
Right.
Well, actually, providing the link might be detrimental in my case, because then they'd see my numbers. Like, wow, why would I do this show?
Oh, God.
Well, because no one else is doing this. Well, I shouldn't say that anymore. I shouldn't say that anymore. But anyways, yeah. But talk about the future. I mean, you got your 50th coming up. You're gonna keep this. You're gonna keep this train going, moving right along. You having a good time doing it?
If the trail hasn't derailed completely, I'm gonna drive it completely off the cliff.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna beat this horse until it's completely dead.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for like next year? Changes to your show, format, scope, anything like that?
Why would I change anything? It's so easy.
It is.
Yeah.
I just ask people the same 7 questions.
So Ethan, I want to ask you, what is your favorite McCartney record?
Was that an impression of me?
And fairly decent one too. Actually, it was actually pretty good.
I've listened to your show a few times. I think I got all your mannerisms down.
Oh,
especially the
Oh God! Wow! Now I'm going to be really self-conscious from now on.
Don't listen to him.
It's hard enough that I'm even on video.
Right.
I know.
Well, now again, you're seeing why I don't do video now, because I look like an ogre.
Ugh, whatever. Anyways, so off the top of your head, favorite McCartney album?
Favorite McCartney album? McCartney 2.
Okay.
Win. That's a nice choice.
Do you have a favorite McCartney song?
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Monkberry Moon Delight.
Ah, not bad. Not bad. I like it.
You're playing the Ethan game. That's what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
No one knows how to play the Ethan game better than Ethan, though.
I would hope so. I would hope
That's
so.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, Ethan. No.
Oh,
Anyway, okay.
Oh man.
All right. So, anyway, so okay. So we'll later on in the show, after we're talking about new, we'll let people know how to, or you can let people know how to find your show, and plug away on all that good stuff. But we're gonna jump into new. And this is the 16th solo studio album by Paul McCartney, released in October of 2013. It was produced by Giles Martin, Paul Epworth, Mark Ronson, Ethan Johns, 4 producers on this one. Recorded January 2012 to March 2013. Recorded a bunch of the songs were recorded with his touring band, Rusty, Brian, Abe, and Wicks. And he had a really interesting Twitter cryptic tweets, kind of like a marketing type thing throughout that the months leading up to the release. And it had stuff like Castle, Born, York, Moon, Potato, Lee Weds as in newlyweds, Surreal, or Orleans, and Zealand. So if you didn't know that new belonged in front of all of those, I think you probably weren't paying attention. So, but and then the pretty good cover art, which was by Ben Ebe, I believe it's pronounced IB. So. But this is new. This is 2013, as I said, a collection of, I believe it was 12 songs on the record.
The initial, right on the initial one, right?
Right. But that one right there, does that have Scared on it?
No.
Okay, so that's just because the vinyl I don't think has Scared on it either.
So it was a bonus track.
Yeah, it's a hidden track, really, Scared.
Yeah.
So if you have that record right there, that's in your hand, you won't have Scared on it. So, and I don't think we've gotten a copy on vinyl that had any of the bonus tracks on it, like we did with Egypt Station.
Well, even on any other edition, it's not even listed. It's just a hidden track.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But it is once you put it in your if you put it in your computer and if it goes to iTunes, you will see Scared there.
You do see it, but even on the deluxe, they don't even show it.
Right, they don't even show it.
I was listening to it on Spotify, and it was just part of the last song.
Oh, really?
There was about, I think, like 15 seconds of silence, and then it just went into Scared.
Oh wow!
Gotcha. So let me ask you, Ethan, did you pick this one up in 2013, or did you come to this album a little later in life?
I came to this album right when it came out.
Okay.
I was at that time where I had finally started catching up in a way with new releases, pun intended. So I remember, going out to HMV when it came out and buying.
So you had the HMV there then?
Yeah, back before it went bankrupt.
Yeah.
So you were you were probably 11 then?
I was 11.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool. And you bought this record, so you were pretty early on. You already pretty much probably had most of the Beatles stuff then, right? So you're pretty much getting into solo McCartney at that point in time?
Yeah. I mean, this was actually, I think, the first proper solo McCartney album I heard in full, weirdly enough.
As a new fan, right.
Yeah. No, I mean, in its entirety, end of sentence.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had, gotten hits off of iTunes and stuff. So I had, Band on the Run, yes. Jet, yes. Live and Let Die.
Right.
Got all that you need. And then I got this.
Because 5 years prior was 5 years prior we had Memory Was Full, but then the year before New we had
Kisses on the Bottom.
Kisses on the Bottom. So which is the cover album, but we still weren't waiting that long. So you had 4 years in between Kisses and you had 2 years between, and then you had Electric Arguments.
Yeah, Electric Arguments in 08,
right.
And then, so it wasn't a huge gap in time.
And then you had Ocean's Kingdom in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
2010,
yeah.
So it felt like a long gap though, to me at the time. I remember thinking, when is a new album going to come out?
Right.
You know?
Right. So I would imagine that Kisses on the Bottom was probably a little bit of a letdown for you.
Oh,
Was
are
it?
you talking to me?
No, Andy.
Oh.
Andy.
Oh, yeah. It was exciting. Okay, here's an album. Standards, good, but not what we were hoping for. But I liked it, and
Right.
bought the vinyl and the CD, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like, okay, we have another new album to sink our teeth into.
Right.
But again, you had Memory Almost Full, and then boom, the next year, Electric Argument. So it was a lot of new material in a short time frame, and then touring. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was to be expected with that gap in time.
Right. What about you, Ethan? Were you aware of Kisses on the Bottom year prior?
I was aware of it. I don't think I cared very much.
Mm.
Because I remember seeing it at record shops for years, the vinyl copy, and I just did not care. And then suddenly now I kind of want to buy it, and it's
Right.
out of print, and it's ridiculously expensive.
Exactly. I
That's why you
had
gotta get it.
opportunity after opportunity
gotta
after opportunity to buy it, and I never did myself.
Well,
You gotta
luckily,
get it when it
there's
comes
like-
out.
Yeah.
luckily there's enough hole-in-the-wall record shops that a bunch of them probably still have copies.
It's possible.
There's a store in town, Andy, you might get a kick out of this, that has the Pink Floyd Echoes box set. Has like 5 brand new old stock copies for like
Wow.
what they were going for retail price back in 2001.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a good deal, man.
I didn't buy one though.
Oh, shoot. What's Kisses on the Bottom going for on vinyl now, Tom? I haven't even looked.
Oh, probably over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Is it double?
people are
It's a double
stupid.
LP.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
They
it
must
is.
have the bonus tracks on there too. Then probably I would imagine.
Yeah. Four. No, actually, no. It's only the 14.
Oh, okay.
It's only the
Interesting.
Yeah, but it is a double LP, and again, that was something I bought at the time just on Amazon. I think it might have been $35 or something like that, maybe 40. Brand new.
Gotcha.
It's just new release, new vinyl, new format. Just buy. That was
Actually,
Yeah.
on this topic, do you know what I find really frustrating? The fact that stuff like We All Stand Together is being reissued, but albums like Off the Ground are completely out of print.
I know.
They're working on it. I'm sure. We're slowly getting everything back in print.
It's been like 4 years since the first batch of new reissues.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has. It has.
Yeah.
They're coming. Patience, young Jedi. Patience.
Adawan.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get this train back on track because we're, as Ethan likes to say, this show's coming to a.
Well, if you wanted the train on track, why did you invite me on? Other than pity.
Other than pity and a few laughs, I think that's what we were hoping for.
Well, that's my entire existence.
Anyways, 2013 or 2000, yeah. So I was here in Arizona. This was my 3rd year in Arizona. Very excited about this album. Was very happy with New. I remember hearing the single New and thought this was really cool song. Newish. I mean, it felt new as in modern sounding track, and I think it worked for Paul. I think he was still his vocals were still pretty strong, especially for that song. And I thought it was a great lead-off single. Andy, what do you think about it? What did you think about the single New when you first heard it?
It sounded to me like he was trying to remake Penny Lane a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It had that kind of Penny Lane bouncy feel to it.
Had the harpsichord.
Yeah. I thought it was a good lead-off single. I think that came out in June, I want to say, or the album came out in October. So the single kind of came out sometime in the early summer, I want to remember. But I enjoyed it right off the top of the. I was from the onset. I had good feelings about the album from the day it came out in October 2013. But the single itself, I thought it was typical McCartney. In hindsight, it's probably not one of the ones I go back to on the album as much, because there's so many other good songs on it. But
Right.
I still like it.
All right, cool. Do you recall hearing the single New before the album there, Ethan?
I don't think I heard it before it came out, but
Okay.
I find it really funny that Andy said it sounded like Penny Lane, because I had in my notes, and another Beatles doppelganger kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we'll find out when we go through the tracks on this on this album. There's little bits and pieces, I think, on this album, because he does like to tend to do some stuff, some tricks that they did back in the day, and like the backwards guitar type thing, which you'll hear on this album as well, so. But getting back to the album, or Ethan, actually, talk about radio in Canada. I mean, do you hear much McCartney in there? Would they play new songs by McCartney, or is it just more and more of a novelty now? Just hearing all the old songs, really. I mean, you wouldn't probably hear anything new, especially if he did a single now. Would you expect to hear a new single in Canada on Canadian radio?
No, would you?
Yeah, well, I mean, up until some classic rock stations, up until I think Dance Night, were still playing McCartney's single from here to there. It just didn't have the legs like a Band on the Run would, where they just keep playing that, or Live and Let Die, or maybe I'm Amazed.
They'd promote it and play it for about 2 weeks, and then it would just...
2 weeks, and
that was it.
That would be it.
I think the closest I got was once I heard Come On To Me on the radio, and that was about it. But, McCartney's presence on the radio is just about as prevalent as like a U.S. classic rock station.
Right. Yeah.
Like we hear,
to get to. Yeah.
You hear Jet, you hear Band on the Run, you hear Live and Let Die, you hear Mole Can Tire.
Live, maybe I'm Amazed.
Yeah. Oh, you get Mole out there.
Of course he does. Right. Of course he does.
McCartney plays Mole here.
Yeah. Another lucky thing.
I saw him do Mole.
That's pretty cool.
With a Scottish, bagpipe band.
Right.
Coming out on stage waving his little Canadian flag.
I still think if he played it in America, people would eat it up and love it too.
Right.
Yeah, but you guys decided you weren't a colony anymore, so you lost your privileges there.
Fair point. Fair enough. Before we get to the tracks, let's just talk about the album as a whole. Your thoughts, Andy. Let's start with you. I mean, just your thoughts on the album as a whole.
As a whole, I think it's aged rather well, and I think in light of Egypt Station, and this might be unpopular, I actually like it more than Egypt Station.
Mm-hmm.
How is that unpopular?
Because listen, there's a lot of people out there, my co-host included, that ranks Egypt Station very, very highly, and I do too. It's for like modern McCartney, but to me, having time to digest both records now, to me, New just soars above and beyond now,
right,
over that record for me. But the record as a whole has, it's a typical McCartney record. You've got some acoustics, you've got ballads, you've got some electronica going on there, some funky stuff. So it's got everything that you would want in a McCartney record. And the production of it, and having 4 producers on it, is pretty cool too, to have 4 different hands on there. It's not just one sound. He used 4 different guys, as you mentioned at the top. He got, what's his face's son in there.
Yep.
Oh, Ethan Johns. Yeah, Glyn Johns' son, Ethan. So...
I thought you were talking about Giles Martin.
Well, no, that was a given. We knew Giles was involved, but Ethan Johns being a part of this too, and I think he tapped Ronson to be the producer because Ronson was the DJ at his wedding.
Right. Correct. Yep.
So yeah, start to finish, overall, like the album a lot. I do.
Cool, Ethan.
I'm actually pretty much in agreement with Andy here. I like it a lot more than I like Egypt Station. And actually, I feel like it's made me appreciate New a lot more since Egypt Station came out.
Wow.
I would actually say, I don't know how sacrilege this is. This would be in my top 5 McCartney albums.
Nice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
No.
I think especially compared to McCartney's output from, let's say, 2001 onwards.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Chaos and Creation in the Backyard.
That's refreshing to hear, because everybody throws a lot of lavish praise on that record. I've never heard anybody say that they don't like that record. So
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's it's nothing special to me. I mean,
Mm.
it's still miles ahead of Driving Rain,
Yeah.
and I'd say it's even miles ahead of Memory Almost Full.
Mm. And that's a good record too, in my opinion.
Again, the balance of power may be thrown off in the next couple of months when
Mhm.
us normal peasants, finally get to hear McCartney 3.
Us normal peasants.
Yeah.
The
Ooh,
less
look at me, I was
fortunate.
sent a review copy.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Come on, Ken, send us one.
Come on. Don't be stingy.
Yeah, look, listen, going back and listening to this album, I probably listened to it 4 or 5 times leading up to the show, and I agree with you, Annie. It is aged very well. And however, the tracks that I didn't like originally still don't like them.
You still don't like
Still don't like them, but I'm liking the songs that I was on the fence with. I'm liking them more. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, this album's great. I really, really dig this album. However, again, I do think Each Station just might be a touch better. But this is a great rocking, feel good record. Really, I mean, there's really, not like Chaos where you got a couple downer tracks or whatever.
Much more melancholy.
Melancholy. Yeah, the whole atmosphere of it, the whole mood of the album is very upbeat, just like Memory Almost Full was. Memory Almost Full was again another upbeat, uplifting. Very.
And it blew our eardrums out.
Yeah, exactly. It was very loud.
To me, Memory Almost Full just screams like this is the album that you could buy at Starbucks.
That too.
Ooh, interesting.
That too.
Interesting.
Although I remember,
have I heard that before? Oh yeah, I said that.
You said that.
Yeah.
I remember feeling at the time though, like when this album came out, I was like, "Oh, I think I like Memory Almost Full just a little bit better." And now, with time, this album has just aged better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
We're 7 years now. 7 years since this album came out, so.
And I think the quality of the songs are there. I think the people that he worked with. I mean, obviously you got 2 kids or sons of legendary people with Glenn Johns and obviously George Martin.
Yep.
And I really appreciate Paul Epworth's work, and especially working in the studio with him. On the instruments and because all the stuff that he produced with Paul were also co-writes with Paul as well.
Which Epworth was with Queenie Eye, right?
Right. And then the stuff with Ronson I think is okay too. So obviously you got the younger crowd, some of the IT producers. I mean, Giles, as we know, he's got the keys to the kingdom right now. He's like the Beatles IT guy at the moment, working on all these latest releases. So it's pretty cool to see him work with Ethan. I mean, with Giles. I almost thought that this was going to be a whole new relationship now, he could, because Giles was also kind of like the extra producer. He was like the executive producer, I guess he was called on a lot, on this album as well, because he also did extra producing on the other tracks that the other guys produced on. But this seemed like it was a really good relationship, and it looked like it was going to carry on to the next record. But obviously he worked with other guys instead. But a good sounding record. I think it's produced well by all these guys. It's mixed well. It's not like extra loud like Memory Almost Full was, but good record. So let's get into the tracks and talk about these songs.
Save us. A pot boiler, as George Martin liked to call it. Kick off the record with a pot boiler, and that's right. what this track is. It was good in concert too, and we all saw him on this tour. Yeah. It came off well, I thought as a live number as well too. Yeah, and the Out There tour, as Ethan's proudly holding up there, that he saw, which is pretty cool that we all got to see him on this tour too.
We'll get to that a little later.
Save Us is, I think, is a great opener for this album too. And immediately right away, you just knew. I knew right away when I first heard the first few seconds. I'm like, this album has been produced way better than Memory Almost Full. You could just hear it.
Yeah, I love the opening riff on that track is really good. Great guitar riff. This was the third. He did a video for this. I don't think it was an official single, but I know they did a video for this, like a live video for it. Again, this was made up in the studio with both Pauls. only performing on this track, and this premiered at the iHeartRadio in 2013 when Paul performed there. So, yeah, great opening track. I think good strong vocals from Paul on that, and it kicked off the album well, like Andy said. Ethan, what's your opinion on Save Us?
Well, I found it kind of interesting that I'm a big fan of Paul's touring band right now.
Mm-hmm.
I found that my favorite songs on the record were actually just the ones with Paul and Epworth.
Oh, okay.
Like the big standout tracks on the album are that and like Queenie Eye and the other one, which the name is escaping me right now.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But I thought it was just, killer opening track. I'm just
Mm.
going back to that, 11-year-old in 2013,
Right.
hearing this, and I just love that, fuzzed out, distorted guitar.
Mhm.
I really like the drum sound on this.
Right. Yeah, Epworth did the drums on that track.
Mhm.
But carrying on with the tradition, what we've been doing lately when we do these album reviews, we're going to be doing the skip or play. So, Ethan, would you skip or play this track when you're listening to this album?
Oh, I'd play it.
Okay.
Play it
Andy?
loud.
Yeah. What Ethan said, play it loud.
This is definitely a play for me. Definitely. Yeah, good solid track. Great opening track. Next up, Alligator, which for me is my favorite track on this album. I think this is just a brilliant song. I think it's produced by Mark Ronson. Wrote the song after taking Beatrice to school, so he had a couple hours. He's talked about this song, especially on the deluxe version of the big little booklet version on the DVD. He does talk about some of the songs, not all of them, but he does talk about that. He talks about how he had a few hours to spare, wrote the song within a 3 to 4 hour span. I like, again, the lyrics for this. I like, want somebody to come home to. I like that, so I can give my alligator to. I really like that concept of the song. I like the middle eight. He does a lot of, I almost call this like the falsetto album, because he does a lot of falsetto vocals on this album.
And he doesn't do a whole lot of that. No,
but there's a lot here on this album. And, that falsetto middle eight where, could you be that person,
to me,
would you dare to turn my key,
that was
find my key. I'm sorry, find my key,
Yeah.
So I love that section, even though the falsetto is not as great as, say, like So Bad, but it still works. It still works for this track. So, Andy?
Yeah, the falsetto in that was like the first time I heard that, I almost had to like pull over. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
This is a change in their song that
right.
you're just not accustomed to hearing in everyday McCartney stuff. And it was like, whoa, it's like a left turn. And all of a sudden it goes falsetto. One of the best tracks on the album, and, definitely a play it for me.
Yeah. Ethan?
When I first heard this album, it was, I wasn't a big fan, but I feel like as my taste has gotten, I like more things.
Mm-hmm.
You expanded your palate.
Expanded my palate. The song was kind of a bit of a sleeper one that until I really went back into the album and listened to it for this, I realized how good it is.
Right.
It reminds me so much of like Band on the Run through Venus and Mars, McCartney, especially with that synth. And again, right. I didn't put it in as eloquent terms as, been late. I wrote, and I quote, I really like the could you be that person for me break.
Right. Yes. Excellent stuff. There's definitely a play for me as well. So it's funny you say that too, because there's songs like I'll say on here that were growers for me too. And it's funny how that happens. The song that you think is a clunker when you first listen to it, and 8 years later you go back to the album, and then all of a sudden, hey, what was I thinking with this track? It's actually really good. And there's a lot of layers too with this. This is almost kind of like Penny Lane-ish to me, because I mean just because there's just a lot of layers to the song.
That's a big compliment to be thrown around.
Hey, I think it's a great song. I mean, whatever. Penny Lane's my favorite Beatles song of all time, but
that is true.
Yeah, this is nowhere near Penny Lane quality, but I mean it's close in my opinion. Good stuff.
I think it's on par with the song Venus and Mars.
Oh, wow.
Agreed.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
because I think that was the
Good praise.
closest thing, the closest comparison in my mind. That
Gotcha.
and like the intro to Band on the Run.
Yeah. I like that. Doo, 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 doo. I like that intro to the song. It works very well. Very well. Track 3. On My Way to Work. Ethan, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this track?
The lyrics are clever. It's one of Paul's, nice kind of storytelling-y songs.
Right.
But it doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just it's kind of how some songs just don't connect with you, but
Right.
you don't really know the reason why. It's everything should lead up to you liking it, but you just don't.
Right.
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. This is probably my least favorite, my second least favorite song on the album, and I just wrote down. I mean, the lyrics and music are just kind of dull, in my opinion. It tells a cool story, but I think the way he sings it and the arrangements, I just don't think they gel well together. And this is the first song I skip on the album. And Andy,
Ethan, do you skip or play?
It pains me to say I think I'd skip it.
Okay. This is a play for me. This song's a play for me, purely for the nostalgic aspect. Because he talks about his youth and being on a bus and Green Bay, and I think about, of course, I go right back to my Liverpool days, being over there. So,
you were in Liverpool?
Yeah, you didn't hear?
No.
Damn.
Well, you don't pay attention on your show, do you?
I don't even remember what the name of my show is.
I know what you're saying with this song, Tom, and Ethan. Like it is a little bit wordy, it is a little bit clunky, it plods along, but I just like it. It's not a skip track. I mean,
you like clunky plodding along songs.
I do for the most part. But I also like 35-minute prog rock epics too.
I was gonna say you are a fan of prog rock, though.
Yeah, so come on.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of prog too.
Of course
so.
you are. But On My Way to Work, it's a song that I enjoy, but I understand why you guys don't like it. I'm not listening. It's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm putting new one on and I want to hear On My Way to Work. It's just I wouldn't put it on just to hear that song. It's just throw the album on and leave it play. So I wouldn't say that I love it, but I'm not skipping it either.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, track 4. It is the very, very good, in my opinion, Queenie Eye, which again produced by Epworth. This was the second single from the album. I think this is a really good piano pop song. Again, during the middle 8, he's got that falsetto, voice. He goes, I was nervous, at that part. Yeah. Again, I dig that. Part. The story of it again. So here's the story that like On My Way to Work, he's telling a story, and this one he's telling another story. But this one works for me. Maybe just because it's a more uplifting, or it's a more upbeat track. Maybe, and I just find the story of him, playing this game as a child, just a little bit more interesting. Again, it's just Paul and Paul, the two Pauls on this track, and I dig the video too, where the concept of you're just listening to the song and you're in the song, and I just that was.
And the whole thing was done in number 2.
Exactly. The history behind, in that studio.
With Giles Martin, though.
Right, walking down the stairs. I know, that's right. Cool.
Yeah. So, but this is definitely a play for me. So, but Andy, go ahead.
Definite play. Probably top 1 or 2 tracks on the whole album for me. Queenie Eye. I think the album is kind of. I think when people think about new, they probably think Queenie Eye. That's how I feel anyway. Right. Love the drums in this song too, especially towards the end. They come back in.
Yes.
Boom! Like that's. I love that part of the song. And the video, as you mentioned, yeah, definitely a play it. Love Queenie Eye.
Yeah, and plus this was another good track. The track they did great live as well.
Yes, and in fact, it was one of those few that Queenie Eye holds the distinction of he actually played it up until like I think a year or two ago when he was still
Mhm.
touring. So, he had it stayed in his repertoire
Right.
past the initial, this is the new tour. I'm going to play a few new songs from the album thing. He kept
Hmm.
it in there. Like I saw him at MetLife Stadium in 2016. It was still there. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and I think
I saw him in Hamilton, Ontario in 2016, and that was still there, along with
right.
actually a few songs from New.
So it's
That's
interesting. A
cool.
couple years later, he still kept
Yeah.
some songs of this in his set list, which was
It
cool.
was
Right.
this, Save Us, and
Davis.
the title track.
New.
And
Okay.
new, right? Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, look, Queenie Eye is great. Ethan.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Ethan.
it's my favorite track on the album. It's
Cool.
you said about the previous song that you would not put on New, just to hear on my way to work.
Mhm.
I, however, would put on New just to hear Queenie Eye,
Mm.
and I actually say I have done that before.
Mm.
It's, to me, it feels the most Beatlesy on the album, even considering what I'm going to say about New later on.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
it feels not even just musically, but spirit-wise, very much like something you'd find on Magical Mystery Tour, something like that, with the Queenie Eye, who's got the ball, the
Yeah.
childhood game kind of thing.
Right.
I
Okay.
really like it, and
Mhm.
it's, of
It could have
course,
been, yeah.
it wins instantly because it kicks off with the Mellotron, and
Right.
I am I'm a sucker for anything with a Mellotron.
Well,
Maybe that's why I like King Crimson so
yeah.
much.
There you go.
Well, it fits in with that whole, childhood
I'm preaching
theme.
to the choir
Yeah.
here.
Right. Right. It fits in with that whole concept of talking about or writing about your childhood, like the Penny Lane and the Strawberry Fields. I think that would have been a great fit. The song would have been a great fit for if those two tracks were on Strawberry Field. Sorry, on Sergeant Pepper. This too. I think it would. I think it fits well. I mean, it has the same feel, in my opinion.
Oh,
I think
musically, it sounds a
yeah.
bit more White Album-y.
Oh, you think for you? Okay.
Well,
Queenie?
it's got some of the more 67 flourishes, like the
Hmm.
Mellotron.
Right. Right.
But it reminds me of, Why Don't We Do It on the Road almost.
Interesting.
Could hear that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Next
Except
up.
compressed to hell.
Yeah.
It's a definite play for me.
Right. Next up is the track "Early Days." Again, this was I don't think it was a single, but it was the 5th video released for the or actually the 4th, I think. Video released. So good video as well. For me, I think this is, even though I said another track was my favorite, Alligator, I think this is the best song on the album. I really moved by this song. I mean, obviously, there's another story behind this, and especially the last verse where everybody thinks they have their own opinions of who did this and who did that. That's a very I think
that lyric
powerful.
That lyric was directed at a certain someone.
Yeah, exactly. So and I think it's very powerful, and the vocals on it are very powerful. And this is like this song where everybody's like, okay, Paul can't sing anymore, but the way he sings it and the way his voice comes across work for this track. And he talks about how I would have done the song again, but Ethan Johns was like, no, it's perfect the way you done it, and don't change it. So again, another bit of falsettos, singing in the chorus, but man, what just a moving song in my opinion. Best song on the album. Ethan, what say you?
Um,
I'm a
it's not.
play, by the way. This is a play for me.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, it's a play for me, but I wouldn't say I'm as crazy about the song. I really like it. It's sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously about John.
Yeah.
But I don't think again, I'm not crazy about it.
Okay.
I don't really have anything more to add.
Fair enough.
So that's skip it.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
Okay.
It's a play, but it's it's a very loose play.
Very loose play. Oh, okay. Fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair enough.
it's like, okay, I'll let that slide. You can play it.
This is I don't feel like getting off the bed
Yeah.
to change the needle, to move the
Yeah.
needle.
I don't feel like getting the microscope out and seeing, okay, where does the next song begin?
Nice. Andy?
Definitely a play it. I love the snare drums in this song towards the end. Towards the end when it starts coming in, oh my god,
Right.
that takes. And then he's doing the falsetto stuff. The singing on this is tremendous.
Take a drink every time Andy says falsetto.
Okay, it is because as Tom mentioned at the beginning of this, the album is loaded with the falsetto,
Yeah.
and he does it very well towards the latter stages of this song. Just when the drums kick in towards the end is where I get like goosebumps when I hear that in this part of the song. As Tom mentioned, it's very nostalgic. I probably wouldn't rank it as high as he does, but it's definitely a standout track on the album for me, and a definite play it for sure. And
Right.
the timing of this, I remember reading this when it came out. Tune In had just come out, and I think what he was kind of really responding to was Mark Lewison.
Hmm.
With everybody has their own opinions about who did this and who did that, and I think
yeah.
because Lewison went on record stating that he thought he was talking about him.
Hmm.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I hope
I don't
not.
know who you're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. But the timing was very weird because this came out in October, so did Tune In, so it was a very Beatles centric time, and this
And
kind
they
of
had a history together,
right, but definitely a play it and a clear highlight on the album.
Right. I don't know if I'd agree about the fact of it being about Lewison, because there are a lot of people out there who are under the impression that John did this or John did that during the Beatle years, and I think it's just Paul just saying, look, I mean, I did more than what you guys think I did, and I think that was really a lot of the reason why there's that we've got the Many Years From Now, that book, so maybe it's just I don't really know if I don't really think it would be about Lewison.
Has Paul reminded you today that he was the avant-garde Beatle? He was doing it first, he said.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was doing tape loops first and all that stuff, at home, so.
I'm surprised he's never mentioned it before.
No. Somebody's written it somewhere. But anyways. But yeah, good stuff. So we're all play on that with a loose play for Ethan. So fair enough. Next song is the lead-off single. It is the song New. Again, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. I think this was a great lead-off single. I think this is the that title Pure McCartney that we got, the compilation that was titled Pure McCartney. I think for me this is Pure McCartney. I like the lyrics. I like you came along and made my life a song. I think that lyric right there is just really cool, because what is Paul? I mean, Paul's songs. I mean, that's my life is a lot of Paul McCartney's songs. So I really appreciate that line, and I really I like the little bit at the end. It's just a really good song, and we talked about it a little bit already. But Ethan, I think it's a play for me. So, but go ahead, Ethan.
It's a definite play for me.
Yeah.
Before Queenie Eye became the object of my affection, this was my favorite song on the album, and this is the one that I played the most when the album came out. And I'll finally say which Beatles song I thought it sounded like the most, because I alluded to it.
Right.
I wrote down in my notes, kind of taking a page from the Book of John Lennon, I called it "Son of Got to Get You Into My Life."
Okay.
I can hear that, absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
Good point.
And I like the little cues Paul takes from the B sharps at the end. Barbershop Quartet. Simpsons joke.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. I just love it. It feels the most Beatles-ish. Most of the songs, I've refrained from saying this, I wrote down, sounds kind of like a hybrid between Wings and the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I got a little tired of writing that sentence. But this, I could barely hear the Wings. It's just Beatles.
Right. So what do you think about that? I mean, do you think he should, you know, dabble in, you know, in Beatles sounding songs from time to time? Are you okay with that? I mean, I'm fine with it, and you know, going back to some of his own tricks. You know, what do you think about him, you know, sounding Beatles on his records, Ethan?
I was hesitant when I, first thought back on the album, but after listening to Egypt Station again, I don't exactly mind McCartney going back to, a Beatles sound as opposed to whatever the hell for you is.
Exactly.
I have a feeling people listening might be able to tell I don't like Egypt Station at all.
Okay.
So I feel like that might be clouding my judgment.
Well, in 5 years, you can go back and listen to Egypt Station, and you know, hopefully your
and it'll
thoughts will
sound
change.
even more dated.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. But Andy, go ahead, my friend.
New is definitely a player for me. I remember being more excited about it back then. It has not retained a lot of staying power for me on the album. Again, I don't skip it, but the album has so many other great high points that I kind of like. Okay, it's Paul doing his Beatle thing. It sounds good. It's a good song. Nice melody. The lyrics, as you pointed out, about very good, very, but it doesn't light the world. It doesn't light my world on fire. So, I mean, but I'm not skipping it. I enjoy the track for what it is. I kind of like Paul's doing Paul stuff. I mean, if he wants to go back to that Beatle stuff, fine. Obviously, it's who he is, but I really obviously enjoy when he takes chances and risks in doing different music. So that's kind of my feeling about that. But definitely, I don't skip it. I'll play it.
Actually, I had an observation that all the songs Paul was playing with his touring band sounded more Beatlesy. And by the numbers solo McCartney.
Interesting.
Which I guess that's what you'd expect when you have the most elaborate Beatles tribute band in the world playing on the song.
True.
And actually, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Andy. It's good, but I don't like it as much as I used to because it doesn't have the staying power. Because the novelty wore off, that it's like, oh, it's Paul, but it sounds like the Beatles.
Right.
Whereas that's why I think Queenie Eye has slid into number one.
Exactly. Agree with you. Agree with you totally on that. That's why Queenie Eye definitely, in terms of the two songs that sound like the most like the Beatles, Queenie Eye clearly leads the charge on that one.
Right. Well, speaking of sounding like the Beatles in maybe a technique kind of way, the next song, Appreciate, which again produced by Giles Martin, in a way, production wise, this one is kind of Beatles sounding because you got tape loops in there, you got some backward guitar kind of going back there. So I think in that sense,
Auto-tune.
Yes.
Auto-tune.
Well, it plays around with his vocals, throughout his whole career. I guess it just depends on the song itself. I guess I don't mind auto-tune. I guess it just depends on how I feel about the lyrics, so, but anyways, but again, more falsetto on the song. This is one of the tracks that I kind of like more now, the more I've been listening to it. I was kind of on the fence with Appreciate, but, I dig this one. Again, this was, I think, another video release. It wasn't necessarily a single, but he released a video for this, and it's a play for me, especially more now these days. I like it, and it's got a really cool guitar ending at the end that I dig a lot, and I would have loved to have seen this played live, just for that guitar, the guitar bit at the end. But Andy, what say you?
It was one of those ones, initially the auto-tuning, it threw me off of it, but it's been a grower over the 7 years. Remember, initially I heard it, I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? I didn't like it. But with time, listening to it, the production techniques in it, all the stuff going on in that, as you mentioned, and it kind of, the guitar solo at the end, it's definitely, it's evolved into a solid play it for me now. I do not skip it when I play the record. I don't love it, but in context of the whole record and what the record is, that's why I play it. And it encompasses the ethos that is new for me.
Gotcha. Ethan?
In a weird way, it actually reminded me of some of the stuff he was doing on Electric Arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's also, I think it's one of my favorite tracks on the album because it's nice and it's a little bit weird, which is kind of how I generally like my solo McCartney.
Fair
I
enough.
like it when it's nice and weird.
Nice and weird. Nice and weird.
And this one is, and that's why I'm not surprised you like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, again, you're talking to someone who temporary secretaries in their top 5 McCartney songs.
That's great too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Moving along, we're going to Everybody Out There. Again, produced by Giles Martin. Again, it's another, up-tempo song, anthem-like. I think another track he performed with the touring band. They talk about, he completed this one in 6 hours. I mean, and again, a lot of these songs you hear that you think a lot of time and effort goes into these songs, but then you read that, he got it done in a one session. It's just,
he did this song in 6 hours. The next song took even longer.
There you go. Some Reynolds reference there for you, folks. But this is a play for me. Good track, and again a good rocker, good anthem. I got no problems with this song. Ethan?
It's a play, but again, it's not a very definitive play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super crazy. It sounds a little cheesy.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah.
The stomping, the McCartney family choir.
Well, a lot of anthems usually are a little cheesy.
Yeah.
In a way.
The only thing worse than an anthem.
We'll rock you and everybody out there. That's like apples and oranges.
The only thing worse than an anthem is an attempted anthem. And to me, this feels like an attempted anthem.
Okay.
And it didn't really land.
Fair enough.
It kind of sounded like it wouldn't have been out of place on, Flaming Pie. Because I wrote down for a bunch of these songs. Kind of sounds like, 70s, sounds like 80s. It's basically like a McCartney greatest hits album, but new songs.
Right.
That's kind of how I view new. Oh, wow, I just had a major breakthrough there.
Wow.
Yeah. I just had this live on the air. You heard it here first.
Yes, and we'll be charging you after the. We'll be charging you after the show as well. So.
Are you my therapist?
In a way. Anyways, so. Andy, did you talk about this one yet? No, you haven't.
No.
It's been 7 years since we started talking about it.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: when you hear the skip.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I think I'm going to change my answer to skip.
Skip.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. It sounds.
Don't apologize.
You said it was recorded in 6 hours. You can tell because it's just to me, it's a throwaway track. It's a throwaway track saying, "Hey, come see the show and listen to this song that I just,
The only thing good to come of it was I think that the tour was named after the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a good tour.
It's lazy. To me, it's lazy songwriting, and I've never liked this song from day one. It just screams of, I'm going to write a simple song that's used to, just throw on an album. It's just clearly one of the weaker tracks for me.
Sometimes he does those simple songs so well.
He does, and in this is a case that doesn't. He'll write a great song very quickly. He's done that for his whole career.
Oh yeah.
This is one case where I don't think that worked out too well. So this song sucks.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sucks, next song for me.
What?
I think this. Yes. Next up is Hosanna, produced by Ethan Johns. Andy, we'll start with you first.
I kind of can see where you're both going with this, and this is going to be like an in-between answer. Sometimes I play it, sometimes I skip it, depending on my mood. Tom, I think you're probably going to say that it just drags too much, probably a little bit. I'm not sure what else you're not really keen on it. Again, falsetto. I'm out of water, but yeah.
I'm out of water.
It's there again. That's nice about it. The production on it is nice, but other than that, this song doesn't really do it for me either.
Mm.
So I'm not gonna play it or skip it because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
Gotcha.
Wait, that's an option?
It is now.
It is when you're the co-host of a show, I guess.
Well, I should know that better than anyone. I change fans on the run and fly all the time. Not about the having a co-host thing.
Yeah, no, right.
I really like it. This is one of those instances where the song itself may be kind of weak, but it is saved with the production. Because it's in terms of McCartney pulling tricks out of his bag, he's pulling tricks from my favorite era, which is 1966 Beatles.
Right.
It sounds like everything they did on like I'm Only Sleeping, through at the tape loops, the backwards guitar, the tambura. I love it.
See, and I hate it for that reason because, and this is a skip for me, because you got the song, in my opinion, that's not very strong, and then you're throwing in all these these psychedelic trips and and the loops and before and after the song, and it doesn't help it. In my opinion, I think all that stuff would have worked on a better song, but the song itself, Hosanna, I mean, just the way he sings the song, I'm not a fan of. The production of the song or the tone of the song while he's singing it, I just don't relate to it. It does nothing for me. So this song is definitely a skip, and it's my least favorite track on the album.
I think I'd say it's a play.
Okay.
I really like the production.
Mm-hmm. The production of it is benchmark top shelf quality. The singing in it, then the lyrics is not great, but the production and all the stuff going on in that song, the loops, then that's
which I think kind of is it's able to distract me from the fact that it's a bit of a weak song.
Right.
But you dangle the keys in front of the face of the baby, and there you go.
Right.
It's a play.
Cool. Okay. Moving on. Next track, I Can Bet. Again, produced by Giles Martin.
Actually, I'm going to be dramatic here.
Yes.
I have my notes. It's time. I now have to flip it over because we've gotten this far in the album.
Okay.
Good. Flip over. Let's flip our notes. So Ethan, we'll start with you this time. I Can Bet.
I really like it, but I'm not sure why.
Why? Why wouldn't you?
I think it kind of boils down to, again, kind of dangling the keys in front of the face of the baby. There's a lot of Leslie on this song, Leslie speaker, and again, I'm a shill for anything with a Leslie and a Hammond,
right,
and all that stuff. I really like all the effects. Again, it's another thing where production kind of comes before anything else, and it makes a song.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on this one. I do like this as another up tempo a track. I love the heavy drums on this track. I like the Moog solo on there. It is pretty cool on this one. It almost feels danceable to me. I almost feel like when I'm listening to this, I can just get up and do the Charlie Brown, or dance a little bit to it, and it's got a good feel to it. I like the.
I forgot. Is this show video?
Yeah, it is.
Why don't you show the audience what kind of dance you're thinking of here?
No, I'll save that embarrassment for my wife. But I like the like the middle eight part, the be straight with me, create with me bit. I like that lyric too. And again, it's not that the lyrics are life changing. It's just I think it's the whole song just works together. The production and the lyric. And the lyrics, I think, just work well together, and it's definitely a play for me. So, Andy,
other than Queenie Eye, it's probably my favorite song on the whole album. That Moog synthesizer break, that was like, wings, we got wings back. That to me, that's when I heard that, I'm like, I'm instantly transported back to Venus and Mars, and This is
And
what makes that's why I
and
love that.
it's so quick, but it leaves you wanting more of it.
Yes, you want more of that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, we're back to Venus and Mars
Yeah.
with that.
You got-
You get this, 5-second solo when you're like, no,
Oh,
stretch it a little bit more, please.
more.
It's
Yes,
what I liked about Alligator.
Right.
yes, exactly. That has those qualities that were in Alligator are now in I Can Bet. The Leslie factor, as Ethan mentioned, is a little bit of ear crunchiness, a little bit because it's like I don't know. It's just that the vocals sound so crunched and jammed in. They're not able to breathe as much. But
I think that may be actually beneficial to. I'm not going to be one of those people who it's like Paul can't sing anymore, but I feel like it kind of distracts from maybe some of Paul's weaker performances nowadays.
possibly.
Okay.
Possibly,
Fair enough.
but that's a definite play it. I Can Bet. That's when if I make a playlist, that one is coming from this album all the time.
Gotcha. Very good. Moving on, we got Looking at Her, which is one of the few ballads that we get on this album. Again, produced by Giles Martin. And again, more falsetto, which I tend to like on this album, and I tend to like it on this track. The programming that goes throughout this song, that Toby Pittman is on the song, that he does a couple programming bits on this album. I dig that, and there's a nice little guitar solo, which I would imagine would be from Rusty on this track as well. And I dig this one. This is another song. This is like the second song that I was kind of like on the fence by. I kind of liked it, but the more I listen to it now, I really dig this track a lot more. And so it's definitely play. Andy?
Definitely play it. I was on the fence for it initially, but it's become like one of my go-to new tracks. Again, I just like the whole when it goes to the chorus bit with the I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I think that's the programming that's by
right.
Toby.
Yeah, that I really enjoy that aspect to this song. Again, a lot of the same qualities on a lot of these songs that we like is the production. The production quality on all these songs by all these four producers is really like top level A game stuff. Even the songs that we're not even crazy about, like Hosanna. I'm not, or Tom, but the production quality on these is just phenomenal. Probably one of the best produced McCartney albums in his career, with all those guys in there. But Looking at Her is definitely play it. Nice, yeah. Again, one of the few ballads on the album, but I enjoy it.
All right. Okay. Ethan?
Unlike some of the stuff, again, I'm going to pick on Egypt Station. It sounds modern. It sounds quite modern, but it works. Okay. I really like the distorted synth bass. I really like it sounds like an 808 drum machine. I thought it was pretty cool. It kind of reminds you that Paul isn't stuck in 1974.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And
he's kind of keeping up with the kids.
Right. Yeah, in a way. Yeah, and I think that's what irritates a lot of older fans of Paul. They want him to sound like 1974 Paul. They want him to continue with the, those wing backing vocals. But you got to get over it.
If you want a Beatle who's stuck in a certain point in history, go listen to Ringo.
Yeah, who still thinks it's 1962.
What's my name?
Yes. But anyways, but going back to the bass part, I mean, that's one of the things I noticed about this record is there's not that that really cool bass lines that we like in my opinion anyways, that we hear a lot of albums of the past, where you just notice, oh wow, he's playing some really kick-ass creative bass parts. I mean, I think it's just the bass on this album just really just goes to the song. It's not really a lot of standout flashy bass in this album.
No.
So, but moving on, we go to the last song on the album. So, Ethan, I think you got the album right there, right next to you, right? Still.
Yes, I do.
Yes. So if you're on side 2 and Road comes on, then that's it for you. You got Road, which is the last, like I said, the last track on the LP. Again, produced by Epworth, and this is Paul and Paul once again. And this track I like. it's a bit, for me, a bit fireman-ish, a little bit. I like to, the vocals on this one, again, I like how his vocals come out, or whatever they, however they're producing his vocals, or what, the tricks on it, I think it's
Actually,
pretty
can I
cool.
say something before I forget?
Yeah, go ahead, yes.
Andy, did you also forget that this album came with a booklet?
Yes.
Yeah. I found myself distracted earlier. It's like, oh wow, wait, there's a second.
But in the repressing, you didn't get that.
What?
They didn't give you the book on this one.
Oh, did you get the color the color vinyl?
I don't know. Let's find out.
That's fine.
No, just the straight black one. But
Right.
they don't reproduce the book on this one, which stinks. You did a little sheet. That's it.
That's terrible.
I know. The original, and this was the final album on the Concord label.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's
There you go.
That's Starbucks money.
That's right, baby. That's that mocha choco, whatever they sell there.
Yeah.
Coffee that I can't afford.
Although I'm still a little happy that he's back on Capitol.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
even just for the fact that he can actually use the Capitol logo on things again.
Yeah, no, that's what's cool about it. But this vinyl was made very well.
Oh yes.
His last one, but
Yeah, the book is a great extra feature to the vinyl.
absolutely.
I will say label's a little skimpy. It's just
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you are a label guy for sure.
yeah.
I think
See,
I might have.
again-
I think I have the hype sticker though, Tom. If that'll please you, I know you'll love it.
Oh, I think I still have the hype sticker too.
Oh, I have my download card.
I have that too.
Is that from the newer pressing or the original?
The 2013. This is from the original.
Original? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the hype
Yeah, I'll
sticker's
have to
not
go
in
back
here
and
anymore. But I do have the download card.
You do. I'm gonna save all my hype stickers. I'm gonna mail them to you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'll frame them. Are you talking to Tom or me?
Actually, since you want them, you'll keep them. Tom will just throw them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's already got one of everything.
Oh, and then
sealed.
another nerdy aspect of this record, they like printed this thing upside down.
That's hilarious.
What?
Yeah, like the Capitol repress.
No.
Yeah, it's like upside down.
I wonder
What
if that
the
was
hell?
just for that and not for all of them.
That wouldn't have happened on Starbucks label.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have.
I can't even remember what the name of it is. Concord?
Concord.
Concord. Yeah.
I just call it Starbucks.
Our coffee costs too much.
Yeah. I just call it Starbucks. People know what I mean.
But where were we?
But we're Road. I said
Road.
my piece. It's a play for me. Ethan, what say you?
It's.
You love this song. I know you do.
Oh, I like it a lot.
Okay.
I wouldn't say love, but I would say it's out of all the songs on the album, it's a perfect closer.
Oh, yeah.
Which is frustrating because it's not technically the closer because, depending
on the
on which
album.
version of the album, there's
Right.
On the
like
vinyl.
1 to 6 different extra
Right.
tracks.
Right.
Actually, no, not even 6. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, if you
7,
got the
8,
CD,
9,
then
10.
there's 3 more songs on the CD then you would, well, actually 4 if you got the CD.
No, if you have
You know.
if you have this, not
Yeah.
this. If you have the standard CD, still just have.
Because it's 14
Scared.
songs. It's actually it'll be 15 songs then if you got the bonus or the deluxe CD.
Right.
This would be 15 songs, but
because you
again,
get-
like we said,
right.
Scared's not labeled
Right,
on
you're
here,
right.
so that's the hidden track. So
I think
Oh, I forgot
Scared's
Turned Out and Get
included
Me
on
Out
it.
of Here. Right. I
Yeah.
forgot Turned Out and Get Me Out of Here. We're on this deluxe 2 CD one. Forgot.
right, exactly. That's okay.
Yeah. No. Scared. Ethan, were you done or no?
Yeah, it's a play.
Yeah, Road we're talking about.
I'm sorry. Road. Yeah. Road. Dun, 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 dun. Love it. I love that.
That is
song.
how the song goes.
It's got that. To me, it's got a 1985 quality to it.
Mm.
Because I listened to the vinyl anyway, it has that feel to it. So again, areas that Paul really don't. It's not a typical Paul McCartney song. So that's why I like it. It's up there with Queenie Eye, and I Can Bet is like my core new tracks. Who produced this one?
This one road was Epworth.
Epworth, yeah. See that Epworth did Queenie Eye. The Epworth stuff is really just kick ass on this record.
The Epworth stuff is the standout stuff.
It really is. And if the album had closed with that, well, the vinyl does great. I mean, the CDs don't, but it's a great closer.
I have no way of fact checking that because I haven't listened to the vinyl since I got it.
It does. I listened to it today. It does, and the vinyl ends that way. But one of the better closers of McCartney's albums, I think, overall, because it has that cinematic kind of ending to it. So
right, cool. Then we're going to get to some of the bonus tracks here. So again, if you get this copy, you get 3 extra tracks, and we'll talk about Turned Out, Get Me Out of Here, and then you get Scared. So
we're talking about the other ones that come in the big.
But no, that will be
No.
We're not talking about this one. We're talking about
good because I don't really have notes on any of them.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about that.
I wrote down the song names, but I just put, see previous comments.
Right.
It's Queenie Eye, but just slightly worse.
Slightly. But those 3 tracks, I mean, I dig Turn Out, Get Me Out of Here, which is a really cool bluesy acoustic track. I think it's done. I like the vocal effect on that one as well.
Foot stomping. Too much with the foot stomping.
Yeah. And again, I think Turned Out is like a 3-minute pop for perfection song from Paul. Again, another, good, piano. I love his piano rockers. I mean, they're good stuff. And then Scared, it's moving, it's a nice piano ballad. Again, I think it's just Paul on that. I think it's raw just the way it is. I'm glad that they didn't add any orchestration to that one. I don't think it needed it. I think it's just, just
plain ballad.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Plain ballad, nothing extra on there. And I think that works for that. So those 3 tracks, I think they're really good bonuses. I would love to have Turned Out on the regular album. Maybe take Hosanna off, that.
Yeah.
And put
you
that
gonna do
on
the
there.
other bonus tracks too at the same time? The ones
Yeah, we'll
on
talk.
This one?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
we'll do
keep
the
going.
other. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to do that too? So then when you get this, which came out the following year, 2014. Yeah. Then you get 3 more bonus tracks. So the first CD was this CD.
No one asked me what my thought on Turned Out was.
Well, Tom's going to do all the bonus tracks in one go.
And then we'll go back. And then so you got three discs here. You got 2 CDs and then you got a DVD. Okay. So and pretty nice booklet. You got all these wonderful colors. It's very psychedelic hippie-ish colors and tie-dye and stuff like that. But then you got the bonus CD, which had 3 more tracks that were recorded during the sessions. You got Struggle, you got Hell to Pay, and Demon Dance. And then you get 4 tracks that were performed live. You got Everybody Out There,
Tokyo,
and Save Us. Exactly, from Tokyo. So for me, Struggle, Hell to Pay, and Demon Dance, again, good songs. Hell to Pay, I think, was probably the weakest of the 3, but Demon Dance, I'm just a killer fan of that one. Again, the with the piano, like the New Orleans style playing, and then you get the church choir kind of backing vocals on that, which is really kick ass. And your homework tonight, Ethan, is to play that song and
he knows it. He knows it.
No, I don't think he played it though. Did you play it or no?
What are Demon Dance?
Demon's Dance, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you did play that? Okay. I thought you said there was
I did my research.
Come on, man. Don't count the kid out yet. Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some of my favorites. So Demon Dance is the standout track for me on of those 3 tracks. And then then you get the DVD in there, and you get again interviews. He talks about a handful of the songs, not all of them. Probably like 6 tracks he'll talk about a little of the backstory on that. You get the videos, you get Early Days, Appreciate, Save Us, Queenie Eye, you get those videos. which is nice. And then you get the making of Queenie Eye, Appreciate in Early Days.
Loads of video content on that.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's worth it for I mean, you know, we complain about the DVD content on the archive editions, you know, because a lot of them just are not filled with material. But this one, the DVD on this one is really worth it. Bonus audio though, you could put more on there. I mean, it's only 29 minutes worth of the music, so that in a way is a little disappointing. But you know, altogether, this is a really cool set. This is like reminds me of like a mini archive set. You know, it's.
Are you just mad that there wasn't a companion album to go along with the album, Tom?
Yeah, I'm kind of, you know, kind of hurt that
you're mad that there was no suitcase.
We didn't get a vinyl. We didn't get a vinyl edition of this.
No, we did not. No, we did not. Shame on Paul.
There's still time for a record store day limited edition.
Shame on 2013 Paul. Yeah. Shame on that. So, but Andy, go ahead.
No, let Ethan.
All right, go ahead, Ethan. Yeah. Bonus tracks.
Okay, I think the standout one to me is it's Turned Out.
Okay.
Because, again, it's kind of the opposite of what I was going to say before. It's very Wingsy, Beatlesy. Everything about it should mean I don't like it as much because it feels kind of quick, but I like it. It's quick and easy McCartney at his best.
Yeah, there's some good guitar playing in that track too.
It's not too complex. Mm-hmm. I don't think there could be like a whole, 20-page essay about it, but it's good. It's classic McCartney.
Yeah.
I don't have enough thoughts about Get Me Out of Here to
you don't need many.
I didn't. I just on my notes, like I was about to say a bad word, but all I wrote was just a question mark.
I kind of dig the vocal effect on that track.
The vocal effect is cool, but the foot stomping. Go back to Nashville, please. Oh my God.
Struggle very, reminded me a lot of the Venus and Mars album.
Okay.
Again, not a whole lot to say about that. Hell to Pay, modern sounding drums. See, this is I had this struggle writing the notes or just thinking about the album because the stuff I can say about one song could probably apply to like 3 other songs on the album.
Right.
Demon Dance, Tom, you're not going to like this. I'm not crazy about it.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. No.
And the 4 live tracks, I think I was a little bit mean earlier when I said they were just it, but worse. No, it's probably my second favorite McCartney related thing to happen in Japan.
Okay.
My second.
Yeah.
The first being his arrest in 1980?
Of course.
Okay. Just checking.
Of course.
Just checking.
Oh, of course. That may be my favorite aspect in all of Paul McCartney history. My friend, one of my best friends, he's not even a huge McCartney fan, but so many times he just sends me that picture of Paul in handcuffs going like, with that surprised face.
Yeah.
And then that picture with like the Japanese subtitles from the news of just the picture of the pot in his suitcase.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
thumbs up. I'm going to jail for 9 days. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, man. What were we talking about again?
Bonus tracks.
Oh, new. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. And Scared. I just wrote one word, boring. But I wrote it in fancy cursive. Because it's boring, but it's elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah. I did like the vocal effect though. The reverse delay. I thought that was it kept it from being a complete waste of CD space.
Okay. Andy?
Bonus tracks. Okay. I think this is probably one of the best cases of getting value for money with the bonus tracks because he really hooked us up with bonus tracks with this album.
Right.
Demon's Dance should have been on the fucking album.
Yeah.
That song is great. That's a great.
This will be the last joke at Tom's expense. I'll say, Tom would know a lot about value for money on your McCartney albums. Tom is Mr. Value for Money.
He certainly is. Demon's Dance is a great, great song. It should have been on the album properly. I love Demon's Dance. I mean,
Right.
And again, I didn't know any of these songs till we got this. Hell to Pay, a little subtle jab at the ex Mrs. McCartney, perhaps.
Right.
You know, because fresh off the divorce, a lot of anger in that song. Great song. Love the piano riff on that one. I think both of those songs could have gone on the album easily. Struggle, same thing. Feel like Ethan, very Venus and Mars-ish. A little bit too long for me. Scared, I like. I do think it can be a little bit. It just runs a little bit long, a little bit boring. But I like that it's just him and the piano. To echo Tom's point, it's not loaded with other kinds of production. It's just him and the piano.
No foot stomps.
No foot stomps. No. None of that. So it's nice just hearing Paul and a piano because there's so very few songs in his discography where he won't add something to it, and that's one case where he just does that, and it works well. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the song, it is a good song in that regards. The other two original bonus tracks, Get Me Out of Here, You Know How I Feel, that can go, and Turned Out, I agree with you guys too. It's up there with Demon's Dance as well.
Gotcha.
So those are my hot takes on the bonus tracks for Were New.
Right. Cool. So let's just put it in context here. You know, where do you place this album in the McCartney canon, Ethan? I mean, is this high up there for you?
It's in the top 5.
Yeah. Albums
wise. I'm not sure what the top 5 is. I just know it's up there.
Okay.
I don't know if it comes from a purely sentimental perspective, because this was the first new McCartney album I had heard.
For you, right.
Yeah, so that makes sense. A lot of times, somebody will be a fan of an album, which a lot of people aren't a fan of them, but because there's sentimental values to it, that just adds to the whole experience. Yeah.
Right.
However, I don't think I've actually fully appreciated the album until I went back and listened to it fully, and that's why Alligator is now up there instead of not being on my radar at all.
Right. Very good.
Yeah,
I love it.
It went from being good to even better.
Cool. So for me, this is definitely in the top half for me. Where it goes, definitely top 10. I don't know if I can say top 5 just yet, because I think there's some really strong albums or maybe above it. However, from top to bottom, if you got just that 12-song record, for me, I mean, there's only 2 clunkers on it, so that's good for me. I mean, when you're not really, when you really don't have to hit skip a lot, for me. So from top to bottom, this is one of his better albums. So yeah, definitely top 10 for me probably. And I've been really enjoying this album a lot lately, and I'm probably gonna play it a few more times before I put it away again for a little while. But
maybe it'll finally go ahead of Egypt Station.
Maybe
you can join the rest of us, Tom.
No, I gotta be a little different.
Join us.
But Andy?
I think it's probably, if it's not, it's probably 10 or 11. I don't think it's in the top solid 10. Just there's too many albums, but it's probably 10, right around 10 or 11 on this. It's up there. I mean, the man's got so many great albums. So, but it's to be up that high, I think is a pretty cool statement.
Well, the fact that New is 10 or 11 is kind of a testament to how much good stuff Paul has put out.
Right.
Or actually, I'll revise that statement. How much stuff Paul has put out.
Right.
I'll take away the good part.
Yeah. Gotcha. It's definitely top tier McCartney.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if you know that, but like I like to view his stuff like over the last 20 years. I like to I separate everything from, like, I go up to Flaming Pie and I view that as one set of standards, and then I view everything from Driving Rain on as like 2 categories. That's just how I do it. because it was such a monumental shift in his life with Linda and everything else like that. So,
Right.
so that's kind of how I always break things down. Like,
I would actually split it even earlier than that. I kind of, when I think of his catalog, I almost split it down the middle after Off the Ground. Or sometimes I split it after Off the Ground.
Okay.
yeah,
Like everything from Flaming Pie onwards, I kind
right,
of think of
which
as
a lot,
new.
which a lot of people do too.
Well,
And-
because I guess I can maybe agree with that thought, because that's the last time Linda had that much, like, a lot to do with the album.
Right.
Whereas with Flaming Pie, she was just more or less doing backing vocals, where, you know, with Off the Ground, she was actually playing, you know, instruments
and stuff on it.
Yeah.
So
right.
when I look at it in my kind of context of over the last 20 years, so
Right.
say from Driving Rain on, New goes right to the top.
Yeah, this is a top 3 for me, for sure.
Over the last
Absolutely.
20 years, right to the
Yeah.
top. Now let's see in a month how we feel when that
Yeah.
comes out.
But
But
can't you take the reviews at face value?
no, I can't. No, I can't. Sorry. No, I can't. We just can't. So yeah, overall.
What are you talking about? You can't review an album after only one listen. What are you talking about?
Okay, Mitch.
But
yeah, that's
we're not going there. We're
no,
not
that's-
going there.
That's where I rank it, and it's top tier McCartney. Either way you slice it, all time, last 20 years, it's a solid album through and through. That has a lot of chock full of talent on it, with producers and all kinds of Beatlesque qualities and modern stuff in it. So if you haven't heard it, listen to it.
Yes.
I would
definitely
say it's
check out
probably Paul's most Beatlesque album, period.
Okay.
In terms of his solo
enough.
stuff, I'd say it's the most Beatlesque.
Agreed.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's just talk about the tour for a couple minutes. So all 3 of us actually got to see this tour. I believe it was, I want to say, August, in
2013?
2014, and no, 14 when he was here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I got to see that. It was at the basketball stadium where the Phoenix Suns play. I mean, the stadium has changed names so many times throughout its course, but I think it was U.S. Airways at the time when I got to see him. And this would have been the second time I saw him, the first time since '93, since the Off the Ground tour. So I was really psyched about it. I remember being on Live Nation website, just, you know, kind of nervous about, you know, always refreshing the screens to make sure that I got tickets. And I was like so nervous I forgot to log in, you know, the website. So I actually logged in maybe, you know, 30 seconds before they actually went on sale. So I was just so nervous about getting tickets. But yeah, got the tickets. My wife and I went, had a great time, even though we were all the way in to the, you know, second, third to last row in the stadium, but we were dead on center. So we got a great view, you know, even though, you know, Paul and the band were this tall, you know, that big, but you know, it was a great time. I think there was only a few instances where, you know, Paul's vocals really were kind of, you know, weak here and there, but all in all, the show was terrific. I had a great time with it. And Andy?
So I gotta clarify the tour dates here, because I saw him in 2013, but it was in the summer, and that was before this album came out. So that wasn't the Out There tour, right? Was it something else?
No, it was still the Out There tour.
Oh, it still was called that.
I saw him before Tom, and there was no new songs.
Right. So
on the
I saw
set
him.
list.
I saw him in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center in June of 2013, and there was no new material in the set list because the album wasn't out yet. But I did see him in 2016 at MetLife and that's 3 years later. He played Temporary Secretary, and he had all the, you know, and the new songs were still in the set list. So the fact that they were still in the set list is, you know, again, pretty cool. I mean, because you saw him, 14 and 15, he toured all this stuff, and the new stuff came off well. I remember people liking it. People weren't lining up to go to the bathroom or get beer.
As opposed to My Valentine, which that's I think my most distinct memory from the Paul concert was the amount of people flooding the doors during My Valentine to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that was a shame. I felt bad about that because, you know, like you said, Ethan. I mean, as soon as that song came on, it was just the it was just like a mad dash, to take a leak and get another beer.
Let's hope in post COVID, when he starts touring again, that song has been put away for good.
Right.
Let's hope so.
I'll be the downer if he tours again.
Oh, you had to go there, right?
Well,
Now listen.
I mean, he did state in an article that he's afraid he may have played his last show. So
Got to think about it. Although Elton's still soldiering on, and he put his post.
yeah, but you got to think about it though. I mean, his vocal. I mean, the songs aren't vocally demanding. I don't think as Paul's are. Really, when you think about Elton John songs, really.
Now you're making me angry because I had tickets to see Elton for April.
Yeah, but Elton lowers the keys of his songs. Obviously, Paul does not.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's much more hard to do. So we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. But the Out There tour, that was a great experience. It was a really cool time in his set list too. When I saw him in 2013, he was playing stuff off of Sgt. Pepper that he had never played. Lovely Rita, Mr. Kite. I mean, that was a really cool set list. All together now.
Oh
yeah. So go ahead, Ethan.
So this was my first. This was actually my first big arena show ever. My mom had gotten this for me as like an early birthday gift. She was like, he's getting old. He might as well see him before he dies.
Oh, jeez.
So again, I live in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and so we did a road trip to Boston, and we saw him at Fenway Park. I actually have the ticket in front of me.
When was it?
July 9th, 2013 at 6:30 p.m., which is not true because he showed up an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I was not happy about.
Well, you weren't enjoying the slideshows, all the videos
It was okay for the first run. Right. After it had repeated about 6 times, I was starting to get a little frustrated.
Listen. At least you didn't go in 2002 when the Cirque du Soleil circus people were jumping around for 2 hours before the show. Oh, my God.
What? I mean, who doesn't enjoy the DJ playing the
remix?
No,
I actually love that. Hearing that pre-show DJ mashup stuff, I love that stuff.
I dig that.
It's frustrating when you're waiting.
That's part of the build-up, man.
The concert was supposed to start an hour ago.
No concert starts at 6:30.
That's the time you get in. That's the time the doors open. 6:30.
No, he comes on at like 8:30 every time.
Well,
9 o'clock latest.
What?
And they lied.
6:30. What rock concert starts at 6:30?
I don't know. He was like 71.
Come on. Now you know.
I don't know.
What was the show? Did you like it?
I did really like it. It was just magic.
And seeing him in a baseball stadium too, which I've seen too, must have been a cool experience to see.
Well, especially at I know nothing about sports ball, but it was Fenway Park, and even a simpleton like me knows what Fenway Park is.
What baseball team plays there?
So that's Boston. So I think it's the Red Sox.
Very good.
Yeah. Because they had big signs, and of course, no concert experience, based on my knowledge, is complete without some drunk asshole behind you spilling beer on me during the show. And he had a Rolling Stones hat on the whole time, which kind of set the mood.
The old drunk guy, thousands of them at every show.
He was being really belligerent. Like every time Paul was bantering, the guy thought it was like a one-on-one Q&A session, and would just shout answers. He's like,
that sounds like a concert.
We're gonna play a song off of Sgt. Pepper that we haven't done before this tour, and the guy's like, Sgt. Pepper.
Of course.
You do Sgt. Pepper. And then he went into Mr. Kite, and the guy's like, play Sgt. Pepper!
Oh, because the guy was probably ossified beyond belief.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He did start with 8 days a week, though, which I was quite happy about.
Very cool.
Right.
And,
Very good.
seeing him outdoors is, I think, a little bit better than seeing him indoors,
Right.
because the pyrotechnics can go as big as they want.
Mhm.
Because I saw him indoor, there weren't any fireworks, because that would probably be a
he
fire
did them.
hazard.
He did them.
Right. He did.
He did them
Well,
indoors.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he
remember the explosions during Live and Let Die,
Yeah.
which this is a story I actually haven't told anywhere. You're getting to hear this first. My
Ooh.
mom saw Paul back in 2002 with my dad, a couple months before I was born.
Mm.
And she's told me, and she never lets me live this down, that the first time she felt me kick in the womb was
that
during
that
Live and
show?
Let Die, when like the big fire, the fire was like bah, bah. I was kicking.
See,
Nice.
it was preordained.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
Very
was
cool.
the only thing I do regret, though, is my mom thought it'd be a good idea if we left before the traffic got heavy, so we missed
Right.
both of the encores.
Oh, bummer.
Ooh.
I had to leave during Day Tripper,
Oh.
and that was the most frustrating experience of my life. Because she's like, well, you want to get a tour book, don't you? We're going to have to leave now. So I remember the music getting like quieter and quieter and more echoey.
Did you buy a $5 bootleg T-shirt outside, or did you pay $50 for one inside?
$50 for one inside.
Good for you. Good for you.
I know.
Screw that bootleg shit.
I'm you haven't bought any, please.
I'm a cog in the capitalist system.
And you're calling us the problem for buying all the different copies. Yeah, okay.
I never bought any bootleg. Every bootleg I had was given to me.
Why don't I believe that?
Honest truth.
No,
truth.
He's not into boots.
Why would he voluntarily not give Paul McCartney
I'm not saying that
money?
I'm not into boots. I'm just saying that all the ones that I have been given to me. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, anyways, but Andy, you said your story, right? You're live. You're good.
Yeah.
Good?
Yep.
So, Ethan, I want to ask you, what would you like to plug?
Why does your impression of me sound like William Shatner?
Shatner, really?
What would you like to plug?
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah. By the way, thanks you, Dick, for making me feel self-conscious the whole episode about how I talk.
Oh my! See.
It's fun. It's all
encouraging
fun.
This kid. Now you're gonna make him second guess himself. Good job.
Yeah,
just giving people like what to if they haven't seen their show yet, you can
it's called
what you expect.
It's called Fans on the Run.
Sound like that much of a pompous asshole?
No.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, do I sound that annoying?
Oh, you do not.
Children should neither be seen nor heard.
That's right. Yeah, I think I told you that, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, tell us about this the show one more time and where people can find it.
That's right, Tom.
Yep.
The show's called Fans on the Run. It's a show. Now I don't feel so confident about plugging it now.
Oh, come on. Stop it. You just had the wonderful Robert Rodriguez on. That was a really good show.
That's a score, man. That's a good score.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fine. If you insist, the show can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, whatever the hell it's called now. Did I already say Spotify? I think so.
You did.
YouTube.
Stitcher, YouTube.
You have a YouTube channel, yes?
I do have a YouTube channel. It has the most creative name ever. Ethan Alexanian.
Wow.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it can basically be found anywhere you can find podcasts.
And how often do you publish episodes for those who want?
It's funny you should ask. When this goes out, I will be actually for the month of December leading up to Christmas, I'm going back up to 2 episodes a week.
Wow.
Because I kind of double booked myself by accident. Because I reached out to a bunch of guests.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them did not respond, and then I freaked out. It's like, okay, I'll go on to my next batch. However, what I did not anticipate was the first batch getting back to me and all saying yes.
Ah,
Oh, wow. Okay, so what are we going to do now?
right. Yeah, because I remember you started off weekly, and then like you had so much back catalog that you ended up going twice a week, which was fun
That's still
too.
amazing. Twice a week. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's
And-
great because you're getting people to respond to your show. They're coming on, and for the most part, it's
You're giving my my reach too much credit here, Tom.
Oh, stop.
50 shows in 8 months. Not too bad there, sir.
No,
Yes.
I agree with that, but it's maybe more people
And
should
plus,
listen to
may
it.
I just give a super awesome compliment, which we have not talked about, is the artwork that you do.
Yes.
Your
Let's
show,
talk about that. Yes.
and how you kind of design that, and that is just probably one of the coolest things out there that I don't think any other Beatle pod, video cast, whatever
Right.
does. And yours does that, and you do it so well. Talk a little bit
Yes.
about that.
Well, I'd barely call myself a podcast host, but what I would call myself is a graphic designer.
Hmm.
And so that's what happens when you give a bored teenager during a pandemic a podcast that he doesn't know how to host. It's like, let's do some graphics. And all I did was I did Ken Womack in A Hard Day's Night, and I haven't looked back since. And now
They are
for the-
so awesome. Every
Yeah.
time I see you post one, I'm like, he did it again. He did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you both had solo McCartney albums because it was
Mhm.
only fitting.
Yeah.
Right.
Tom had
Tug of
Pipes-
War.
he had Tug of War.
Yeah.
I almost said Pipes of Peace.
Yeah, it's okay.
And Andy had my favorite solo McCartney album, McCartney 2.
I'm gonna actually probably print that on a high gloss thing and frame it in my house. I really am.
I'll send you like the high quality version because that exists.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have an email as well? People can get a hold of you.
I'm not sure why someone would, but it's fansontheRunpodcast@gmail.com. So if you have any suggestions or criticisms or telling me where I can go shove something, you can reach me there.
Right. Great. Great. How have you have you received any constructive criticism at all?
No, actually, the thing that surprised me the most is that all of the feedback I've gotten on the show has been actually really positive.
Well, why
Right.
wouldn't it be?
I say,
Yeah.
knock on wood, I probably just jinxed it, and I'm probably going to get my first hate comment.
It'll be on our channel because we get plenty of those too. So
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Well, probably because now they can see my face, and I can't hide behind, a glossy visual.
Lift your mic up a little bit. You can, there you go.
Yeah, I kind of considered that.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, what does that mean, Andy? Oh, wow, I don't know who I can trust.
Yes, you do.
Well,
Yeah.
anyways, Ethan, this has been a great time. Thank you for coming on Two Legs to be a part of this particular episode. And
My pleasure.
and
I'm really
you know-
happy I got to come on and talk about one of my favorite McCartney albums.
Great. Yes,
And
thank you.
I think when we revisit these albums, whatever album it is, no matter how many times we've heard it, we gain a little bit of a new appreciation and liking for it.
I
No
agree.
matter how many hundreds of times we've heard it, other viewpoints that maybe
Right.
we haven't heard, and okay, like Ethan likes that song because of that. Now I'm going to listen to it, with that perspective, and that's that's what we do. So
And for
Right.
one last time in the episode, we can sit here and point and laugh at Tom. You bought the suitcase.
Oh, I bet you Sam paid you to do this, didn't he?
he probably did, but did he pay? He probably paid him in pounds sterling.
Yeah. He didn't pay me in the ever strong Canadian dollar.
Right, he probably paid him in pounds sterling, which was worth more anyway.
Well,
No,
the pound
it
is sinking, so
Oh yeah,
But
it
anyways,
is. And it's feeling quite appalling.
yes.
Oh,
Andy, anything you'd like to add before we sign off?
Not much, brother. Take it away.
Okay, well, you can find us at
is that a pun?
It was.
Jesus Christ! I get off of Sam Weill's show and I expect to be safe from the puns.
Nope.
I almost dropped an F-bomb, but then I remembered restrain yourself. But then I heard Andy say one earlier this episode.
No, I didn't. I didn't drop an F-bomb, or maybe I
I thought you did.
Oh, I did. No, maybe.
Not that good, schoolboy.
Yeah.
It's my day off.
Anyways, but you can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Two Legs Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. Please check that out. Please subscribe. We're really growing that channel a lot. We thank you for subscribing to that. We're having a great time doing that. You can email us at twolegspodcast@gmail.com. You know, whatever. If you like the show, great. Email us, let us know. If you don't like it, great. Email us, let us know what you think about the show.
And if you want to tell them where to shove something.
Yes, exactly. Yes. You can tell us if you want to tell us to not have Ethan on again. Please tell us. Let us know.
You can also send that. You can also send that to fansontheRunPodcast@gmail.com.
And then I'll reply and I'll tell that person where he can put it. His no, what.
And we fixed our audio issues. I think we've corrected that. I know some people were like, "Your guys' audio is terrible." Blah blah blah.
Well, whatever. That's what you get when you only pay $14 a month for your podcast. You get,
I think we're listen. We're not perfect. We're not perfect, but I think we've tweaked it. And if there's a really bad audio issue, let us know and I'll try to work on it. But I think we've gotten as good as we can.
That's one thing I can say, that Two Legs and Fans on the Run are equals at. We pay the same for podcast hosting.
Podbean, baby.
Yeah, except you guys probably get a little bit better of a return on investment.
Well, maybe.
I don't think so.
Oh man, 70 downloads. This episode did really well.
Hey, I think the show is just going to keep getting better down the line. You're obviously getting a very, very respected group of individuals. And I think that's going to continue. And don't say no or anything like that, because we've talked about who you got upcoming on your show and before. And you should be really proud of what you've been able to accomplish.
There's a really special episode coming out.
Right.
It is not out yet as of this episode.
Right.
But my main upload days, in December there'll be Tuesdays and Fridays.
Right.
And as it turns out, Christmas falls on a Friday this year.
Gotcha.
And sleep is for the weak. And so Fans on the Run will have an episode on Christmas.
Excellent.
With a very, very special guest.
So when do you plan on having your 50th episode out?
I can actually tell you an exact date.
Yes, please.
It'll be January 1st.
Excellent.
New Year's Day.
Love it.
With a new episode to a new year. Thank God.
Yes.
And it'll actually feature friend to all, Kiddo Toole.
Oh, our queen.
The script will be flipped, and she'll be asking me the questions.
Okay.
Very good.
Asking me. So.
And you've got some really cool things. I mean, you got the covers. I mean,
she'll be the one saying and asking me what my favorite something. I would like
to ask you.
Dick.
Lord Almighty.
I love it. So, anyways, everybody out there.
Hey,
thank you.
Everybody out there.
Everybody out there.
Hit
exactly.
that song.
You know what it's like when you haven't got a life.
Oh, geez,
no.
Everyone else in my house is probably like, what the hell is he doing?
Oh, man.
Oh, so yes, thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our show. So as always, have a great day and a beautiful night. We're going to take our sports ball and get the hell out of here.
You can go home now.
Bye.
Listening to Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast, hosted by Tom Hunyadi and Andy Nichols, with musical contributions by Dylan